Hello guys, and welcome to this video. We are going to start by, just reminding you guys, this is lab 1. This has to do with melting and boiling point of water and of salt water. So I have here some salt. Whoops, dropped one. I have some salt. I'm gonna put it into beaker B. I put in a little bit, I'm gonna put a little bit more, and then I wanna make sure that it's dissolved. So I'm gonna mix it around a little bit. Is it a little chunky here? Okay, so we have some salt now into beaker B, and okay, I just have to, I'll start that in a second. So we haven't turned on our hot plate, but they're sitting there and they're getting colder and colder. Actually, I need to mix around my salt. So the thermometers are almost at equilibrium. We're mixing around our salt water. That's B, remember. So I wanted to have lots of salt in order to make sure that this is doing exactly what it's supposed to. So I just added a couple chunks of salt. Okay, so we've mixed it around pretty thoroughly. That should be fine. Okay, so now that we've mixed it, what we're going to do is look at the initial temperature, which you may or may not be able to see, but we're sitting on the left, that is beaker A. We're sitting pretty at exactly 0 degrees. A is sitting at 0 degrees. And B is sitting pretty at we're at 1 degree. So let's just shake that a little bit more. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, and shake the other side. Okay, let's just double check those temperatures. We're at 0 and we're at, I don't know if you can see that, but we're at 1 degree on the salt one. Okay, so 0 on the left, 1 degree on the right. I'm going to start our stopwatch and our temperature at the same time. Okay, so starting stopwatch and putting the temperature on high, stopwatch. So we have as our first marker 0 and 1. Okay, so all we have to do is wait till this gets to the 2-minute mark, and we will have our first data point. I just have a little bit of washing up to do of a couple other beakers. When you're washing beakers, keep in mind there's a rule of 3 in chemistry. We always use soap, and then we rinse it out 3 times. That just ensures that we've gotten rid of any of the leftover soap that might be still in our beaker. That way our soap isn't interfering with our next experiment. Okay, we're at 1 minute and 15 seconds. Okay, we're almost ready to record our first time, or I guess our second time. There you go. So that's our first, and we're sitting at 1 degree on beaker A, and beaker B is at 2 degrees. So not much change yet, but we have a little bit of change. Both sides went up by 1. Make sure you guys are following along and recording your own data. Try to see if you can read the information off the video. If you can't, then you won't be doing very well. So you have to make sure, if you can't, well, just listen to me. Listen to me, I'll read them off for you as well, if you can't see them yourselves. We're at the 3-minute mark, so you have a couple minutes, or 1 minute left. Remember, when we talk about lab safety, it's important to always be keeping your goggles on in the lab. And in this case, we're not actually going to be worrying too much about, oh, that didn't work. Too much about the, there you go, about lab coats because of COVID time. But certain labs, we will need lab coats. Okay, so we're at the 4-minute mark. If you guys can't see that, we're sitting pretty at 10 degrees on the left. And on the right, we're sitting at, oh, it's hard to see it, 11 degrees. So pretty consistently, 1 degree higher on beaker B. Make it easier or harder to read? I don't know. They both still have a little bit of ice in them, but not a whole lot. I'm going to see if I can lower the thermometers a little bit. Just need to make sure the whole red part is submerged. Looks good now. We're coming up on 6 minutes. All right, and beaker A is sitting at 28 degrees. Beaker B is sitting at 22 degrees. Okay, I'm going to give them both a little stir. Make sure that the water is uniform temperature as well as the salt. Now keep in mind this one has salt in it, so before I put it into the other one, I need to rinse off my scapula. There you go. You can really see the temperature start shooting up at this point. There you go. I think you guys can read both of those temperatures yourselves now a little bit. We're almost at the 8-minute mark. All right, we're at the 8-minute mark. One on the left is at 54 degrees. The one on the right is at 48 degrees. I hope you guys can see that on the video. We're at 9 minutes. We're at 68 degrees on beaker A and 62 degrees on beaker B. But that's 9 minutes, so we're waiting every 2 minutes. So we're almost gonna mark down another one at the 10-minute mark. Alrighty, we're at the 10-minute mark. The one on the left is 67 degrees. Beaker A is at 67 degrees and beaker B is at 61 degrees. 67 and 61. Wait, did I say 67? It was, sorry, that was my mistake. 77, you guys can probably see that on there that I was making a mistake. 77 and 71. I made that silly little mistake. Everybody seems to make that one. So just for your curiosity's sake, we're sitting at about 50 milliliters. So they're both sitting at about the same. So that's important. Ideally, you have the exact same amount of ice, but that's kind of difficult to do. We could have weighed it. We should have weighed it, I guess. But we're just doing a rough idea, and the things that we're looking at are especially the coldest and the hottest two temperatures. Stuff in the middle is interesting to note, but not the point of the lab. Okay, we're coming up on 12 minutes. Our left beaker, that's beaker A, is at 92 degrees. And beaker B is at 88 degrees. coming up on 14 minutes. Looks like we're almost done because the one on the left has slowed down drastically. So 14 minutes, and the one on the left is at 95 degrees. The one on the right is at 90, let's call that 95 as well. So both are at 95. Beaker A and beaker B are at 95 degrees. We're gonna do one more and see where we end up. I'm just going to try to lower this a little bit so you can see it more clearly. Still isn't touching the bottom. That's important. Otherwise, we're testing the temperature of the hot plate or of the glass, but not the water itself. Okay, we're at 16 minutes. We have 95 still on beaker A and 97 on beaker B. So beaker B is 2 degrees hotter. And beaker A has kind of stopped moving. So we can try it one more time because beaker B did change a little bit. But keep in mind that beaker B was the one with salt. So what does that mean? So think about what that means while we're waiting for it one more time just to see if it moves anymore. Okay, we are getting to the 18-minute mark. So we've gone another 2 minutes. So the one on the left is actually at 94. So 95, 94, not much of a difference. One on the right is all the way up at 98, but it has definitely stopped moving now. So I hope that you guys can use that lab data. Please make sure that you've copied it down as I've said here. I copied it down here so I know what data you should have, and make sure you use that. That's the lab for you, and good luck on the lab write-up.